everybody, welcome back to our channel.
Hey guys!
Today we're going to be making some low-carb fajita quesadillas.
Yum!
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll get started with the video.
Okay, so going over our ingredients for our fajita quesadillas, we're going to be using some mozzarella cheese. This works well in this dish, but you can also use any other cheese that you like to give you the flavor that you need. And ordinarily we would use maybe some Mexican style cheese, but we're not going to be using any of that cheese the rest of this week or next week, so we'll be using the mozzarella later this week. So we'll just go ahead and use this in this meal today. And then we're also going to be using a fajita seasoning mix packet. Now this is going to give you the good flavor for your chicken as well as your vegetables. It's going to make it taste really well and give you the flavor that you're looking for. So we're going to add that. And then we're going to be using some keto-friendly tortilla wraps. Did I say tortilla correctly?
Yes.
Sometimes I call them tortillas, but they're tortilla wraps. These are very good. We've had them several times. Now these are actually 15 grams of carbs, but you're gonna have 4 net grams of carbs in the end because you're gonna go ahead and subtract your dietary fiber, which are it's 11 grams. So 15 minus 11, that gives you your 4 net grams of carbs. So these work well if you're doing low carb. So that's why we chose these, and they taste really good too. And we're going to be adding to this dish, we're going to use about 1 pound of our chicken tenderloins. These don't have a lot of fat on them. They're very good. And you can also use boneless, skinless chicken breasts. We've done that with this recipe. And we're going to cut everything up. So these are going to work really well, and they're going to be tender and juicy in the end. So we like to use these. And then we're going to also be using a red and an orange bell pepper and 1 onion. All right, those are our ingredients. So let's go ahead and get all these cut up. So to start, I wash my hands really good, and I also clean my vegetables very, very good. You want to make sure your hands and your vegetables or whatever you're cooking is clean really good before you start. And I'm going to cut these peppers in strips, and I'm going to cut the strips in half, so to make them more of a bite size. When you put them in your quesadillas, they're more, it's easy to eat them that way. They won't be falling out and everything. So we're going to also cut up an onion in the same size, around the same size. Yeah.
So we wanted some quesadillas one night, and my brother has this quesadilla
recipe.
It is really good. I requested them for my birthday one year, and he came over and made some for everybody. But he uses he uses refried beans, and he also uses flour tortillas. So we wanted to kind of make
with other ingredients.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's okay. I'm just mentioning that wasn't the only thing in the tortilla. Okay.
So we wanted to make like a low carb version, I guess, of some quesadillas. So we decided to just do peppers, and my older brother actually told us about some low carb tortilla wraps that they have, so we used those as well.
Yeah, I was surprised that they were so good because I was expecting something kind of gross. You know, sometimes you get something, oh, these are low carb. They forgot to mention that they're gross. You know,
right.
But these are really good. I was surprised. So yeah, we try and find low carb versions of our favorite recipes. So these fit the bill. So we decided to go ahead and put these together.
Yeah, peppers and onions. We were actually talking about this the other night. Broccoli is my favorite vegetable, but peppers and onions, those two come close to be my favorite.
They just go well together. We can put
they
them in
complement
anything.
each other very well.
Lots of savory recipes, different dishes we make for holidays. We use peppers and onions. You know, so
they always remind me of the holidays.
Yeah.
So as you can see, we're just putting everything in a bowl. So when we put them in our skillet, you know, it'll be easier to transfer them. So I have about a tablespoon or so of olive oil. You can use whatever oil you want to, grapeseed, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to put my skillet over medium-high heat, and then I'm going to saute the vegetables. We didn't put any seasoning in the vegetables either.
No extra salt or anything.
Right. And you don't have to use chicken. We're going to use chicken today. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to. You can use beef or ground beef or steak. But if you do ground beef, you have to drain it, and then if you do steak, I'm not that sure. I've never made steak fajitas. That sounds good though.
Yeah, we'll try it. We will make some eventually.
So these have been cooking for about 10 minutes at this point. You can see some charred marks here and there.
Becoming the onions are becoming translucent. So it's about where you want them to be.
Yeah. So once they're done, which I think I let them cook for about 5 more minutes, I just put them in the bowl, and then I put my chicken in the same skillet. You don't have to wash it if you don't want to, because that's flavor at the bottom of that skillet.
Yeah, leave that. I'm like, well, you know, it's good to do that when you cook. Sometimes you don't have to wash the skillet out because there's flavor.
I love those one pan recipes.
I call them one pan wonders.
Right.
That looks really good.
Okay, so this is actually a trick I learned off of TikTok. I'm pretty amazed. To take that tendon out of the piece of chicken that nobody likes, I hate it. So you just take the tendon and slide it through the prongs on your fork, and then you like push the chicken away from you while holding on to the tendon. You see I got a mean grip on that tendon.
And it comes right out. I was surprised because I did it too. And I was like, okay, this is good. Because, you know, some recipes, like I made this one chicken recipe for everybody, and they had the tendons in there. It's like, when you get to that part, it's like, oh no, you know, but the recipe is still great, but you do taste that tendon in there. Some people don't care. But for those who don't like it, you know it's there.
Right.
So
if you're making chicken tenders, I don't know how, it depends on how good you rip that tendon out, because you could like rip the piece of chicken in half. So since we're cutting ours up, it didn't really matter for us.
Right.
So we just cut them up into bite-sized pieces. I'm just showing you guys here, and I'm trying to get them all into like a flat, you know, layer. And because we're going to be using that fajita seasoning pack, I just put garlic powder and parsley flakes just to make it look pretty, I guess. Because garlic powder obviously doesn't have any salt in it.
Right. And you can also make your own fajita seasoning as well, because I know we have a keto chili recipe that my husband and I made together, and we actually made up our own chili sauce, chili seasoning. So you can do the same thing, but fajita seasoning.
I was very surprised. I don't know what I was thinking about when they made that chili.
It was really, really good.
The seasoning that makes it chili to me is just cumin.
Yeah.
Because everything else doesn't really smell like chili to me. Yeah. And I was like, so what's making it smell and taste like chili?
It was really easy too. So we'll make that for you guys on camera Monday too. On camera. Well,
for a video, we will be on camera
on YouTube.
Right. So I just let those brown just a little bit for a few minutes. You don't have to cook them into the like golden brown deliciousness, because it's gonna cook a little bit more with the peppers. So I just add it in the pack. I'm just tossing it around a little bit.
Yeah, because chicken will dry out on you, especially if you're just cooking that. Usually it'll dry out quicker. That was my phone. Just ignore that.
So now I'm adding in some water. I think altogether I added maybe 1/4 of a cup of water, maybe a little bit more. I didn't really measure.
It just cooks down and concentrates really good, so that's good.
And if you ever feel like, oh, there's too much sauce in there, don't forget you're gonna add your peppers in there, so that's gonna account for that.
Just wait a minute. It'll cook down, and you can add everything in there, and it'll be fine in the end, and it's gonna be nice and juicy.
Yes. So I believe this cooked for maybe 15 minutes. 10-15 minutes once I put that seasoning packet in there. And the sauce kind of thickened up, and that's when I knew it was time to put the peppers in there.
And you want to make it cook it slow, make it a slow cook because you don't want it to cook too fast.
Yeah, you see,
so
my bubbles are kind of bubbling.
Yeah, see, it's like a little slow, easy sizzle or simmer. That's what I'm
Yes.
All right, so look at those peppers. They look so good.
Yes, you could, and you don't even have to use a wrap. I thought about this while I was stirring this together. You don't even have to use a wrap. You could put this. My mom said over rice. You could just eat this by itself. I would just put some cheese on top of this and maybe some sour cream.
And go about your day.
And go at it with a fork. That's all you need.
Okay. They are really good.
So at this point, everything's pretty much done. I'm just mixing it together and incorporating it really well. So then we're gonna start the assembly process of the fajitas.
And I love recipes where you can control how much or how little you put in your dish. Like these are individualized, so you can make them crispier if you want. Like when Rashard was here, my son making his recipe, we were like, don't cook mine as much, I just want beans, or I want this in mine. This is one of those recipes where you can just adjust it, you know, to however your guests want it or whoever you're cooking for, or a little, or as little or as much as you like.
Right, because I like extra cheese. I think we talked about this kind of in our egg white video.
Right.
Egg white omelet video.
Same type of deal.
Yes. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. What you doing? Go check it out.
Another low carb breakfast.
Right. So I didn't really measure how much I put in there either. Like she said, I went off of preference, how much we would personally like in our quesadillas. So just spooned a good amount in there. Put cheese on the bottom and on top of the meat and peppers. And then I just closed it. I didn't wait for it to melt all the way because it's so hot. It'll all melt. Make sure the peppers and onions and chicken and stuff stays hot. So that'll help with the melting. I mean, it'll melt anyway, but still.
Right, exactly. So and then you could put more. Some people like it just falling out of the side and the cheese all over the place. But yeah. Came out really good though.
So if you guys have any more low carb recipes that you'd want us to try, let us know in the comments.
Yes, we'll be glad to make them for you.
Yes, we hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when we post our new videos.
Alright guys.
Ooh, that look good.
Ooh, check that out. Alright then guys.
See y'all later.
Thank you for joining us.